All right, on January 1st, 2025, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our new server, Swans Island, is going live. Now, for sake of argument, I'm going to call it a heavy PvP server. I want to explain exactly what this server is so you know what to expect. Now, for those of you that play deathmatch servers on DayZ, this is not a deathmatch server. But for those of you that don't play deathmatch servers and all you play is official, this is going to feel like a version of a deathmatch server. Swans Island is an island that comes from the map Deer Isle. The island is in the top left-hand corner if you want to see Deer Isle. Now, Swans Island, at the most generous of estimates, is 1,800 meters from the furthest corner to the furthest corner. Now, if you know Chernarus, Zelenogorsk is 800 meters from tip to tip. So this map is just double the size, technically, as the city of Zelenogorsk in Chernarus. There's one airfield, there's one dock, there's one graveyard, there's one town, there's one industrial. PopCap is currently 30. I'm not expecting it to hit 30. We used to have it at 20. And when we had it at 20, that was insanity. Now, I know you guys get a kick out of me saying the whole 12 plays like 24 kind of thing. Swans Island is 2% the size of Chiemsee. Now, if we have 10 players on Swans Island, since Chiemsee is 50 times larger than Swans Island, then 10 would play like 500 on Chiemsee. So if we had 500 on Chiemsee, I would say 500 plays like 1,000 on official. Square foot by square foot of playable area, 10 players on Swans Island literally plays like there's 1,000 players on Chernarus, equally spread apart. Now, the server is 100% going to be in queue at some point on the first day, potentially the first 7 days. I know this because we ran Swans Island back in February 2024, and the first 4 sessions, the first 2, we hit queue. The first time, we hit queue for hours. Now, this was when we had 500 less Discord members, and Tomato King Raw YouTube channel didn't even exist. We have a lot more people to pull from, a lot more exposure than we did before. Now, I'm assuming that maybe in the first 7 days, but for sure after the 7-day mark, we will not be hitting queue daily. I want to say you could probably regularly check the server and have somewhere between 3 to 5 players on. Now, this map is 100% intended to focus on PvP. Although 3 to 5 players seems low, let's go with 3. If your goal was PvP and you were on Chernarus, and somehow you found out that there were 3 players in Zelenogorsk and you were 1,800 meters away, would you go there? If your goal was to find PvP and you were on Livonia and you somehow found out there were 3 players in Topolin and you were 1,800 meters away from Topolin, would you go there? To me, that is the ultimate goal of Swans Island. Now, when it comes to server settings, there are no mods except the map itself and admin tools. We will be enabling build anywhere, so you can build just like you can in Chiemsee or in Melkart. When it comes to loot, if you can find it in any 3 of the official servers, you can find it here. Now, on Swans Island, there's only Tier 1 and Tier 2. So what we did was we put Tier 1, Tier 2 official stuff in Tier 1, and Tier 3, Tier 4 official stuff in Tier 2. So it's all there. So when it comes to the loot tables, we copied all of the XMLs in Chiemsee's files, we pasted them over to Swans Island, and we reduced the loot by 80%. So basically, the way the loot's going to feel on Swans Island is as if we multiplied the loot on Chiemsee by 10. You're going to be able to find gear. Now, this is an official replica map, so you are going to start yellow food and water. You are going to start with a bandage and a glow stick. We want this to still feel like you have to loot, like you have to survive. Now, there's going to be food everywhere. And if you really want to hunt, there's deer, there's boar, there's wolves. Those things are there. But I haven't seen it. In all of our tests, I haven't seen anybody need to hunt. I don't want to go as far as to say that this is like a practice for PvP, but it basically is. Now, for Chiemsee, besides the Build Anywhere scripts, we duplicated all of the settings, all of the loots, all of the vehicles, the night, day, all of that. We duplicated that from official settings. Now, we did the same thing for Swans Island, but a couple things we can't duplicate. So if you look at the Swans Island map, there's a ridiculous amount of helis. The thing is, we can't have actual helis on Swans Island because the whole map is at best 1,800 meters wide. Now, a heli cannot spawn within 1,000 meters of a player. So if one player stood in the middle of the map, there would never ever be any helis. What these helis are on the map are skeletons with one or two pieces of military gear and heli gear. These skeletons line the entire coastline. You're in the open, but if you want heli loot, that's where it is. Now, another thing we can't do is, in official, a dead player lasts 30 to 60 minutes. We cannot do that. In the 90-minute test run that we posted about a week ago, we had over 100 kills just by gunfire. That's not melee, explosives, suicides, any of that. We cannot have 100 bodies just on the map forever. So the bodies are going to disappear within 90 seconds. Now, if an enemy player is within a couple hundred meters of that, it won't despawn. So in a way, you can go get your gear back. Now, you're allowed to do everything you can in Chiemsee on Swans Island. I'm not expecting anybody to main this server. I honestly don't think you can. Like, you're allowed to. If you want to build a base, go ahead. But when you kill a person, they can easily get back to you in 10 minutes or less. Easily. They could spawn within a couple hundred meters of you. This is not a challenge. I'm being straight up. I'm being honest here. I don't think our most efficient 5-man could dominate this island for long. But if you want to try, go ahead. But the nature of base building on Swans Island is you can't hide. When somebody finds your base, they know where it is. That's another thing, is we do not care about doxing on this map. If you want to shout out player locations, go right ahead. If you do not want the PvP smoke, do not play this map. But if you're playing this map and you want the smoke, then dox. Doxing in Discord or something like that is kind of pointless. Just fire a rifle round. You can hear rifle rounds at over 2,700 meters. Again, this map is only 1,800 meters wide. Just pop around. This map is going to be open 24/7, so there's plenty of times it's going to be dead. Now, every once in a while, on our Discord, I will organize people to play at the same time, and I'm trying to figure out a way to announce it on YouTube without making a video every single time. But we have rivalries on our main server, Chiemsee, and it would be awesome to get those two teams to duke it out on Swans Island. Now, we fixed and coded all of the big things about Swans Island. There are still some small things. I want to add some boats in and things like that, and we're going to do that over time. But we want to get this server launched for the new year. Now, this is just me speculating, but what I think this map is going to be used for most is when you're on your main server and say you just got squad wiped and you don't feel like starting over and taking a whole hour and getting back to wherever you were, or maybe it's dark and you're on official and it's going to take 45 minutes before it's daytime, you don't feel like playing in the dark, hop over to Swans Island. Fuck around. On our Discord, we have separate channels for Chiemsee, for Melkart, and for Swans Island. So if you join our Discord and you want to provide some input, I'm all for it. But we are keeping this official replica just like our other servers, unless we can't help it, like the helis or the bodies taking 60 minutes to despawn. Outside of that, hope to see you there, and I hope I can make it into something you guys really enjoy.